My name is Corey Hilton. This is my wife, Caitlin, and we converted an enclosed cargo trailer into a camper. I'm a doctor, Kate's a therapist. We are busy professionals located on the East Coast. We did the tent camping thing for a few years. We had a blast doing that, but we decided we want to do something a little bit bigger. Something that's less work to pack up, more permanent, but we didn't love traditional campers. They're bulky, they're ugly, they're overpriced for what they're made of. So we bought this trailer on a bit of a whim, and we decided to convert it from a boring cargo trailer into a lightweight, DIY, luxurious camper. We built this thing from the ground up, and we're finally ready to showcase the result. Let's take a look. The interior of the trailer is 14 feet long, 7 feet high, made by RC Trailers in Indiana. We bought it off Craigslist for about $5,000. It has a steel frame, dual axles, and is about 18 feet long on the outside. The trailer design includes a rounded roof, which gives some extra headspace on the inside, and a slightly rounded front. It came with barn doors on the back and one side door. We put 3 windows in it, one on each side and one on the rear door. We also installed an electric jack on the front to make raising it and lowering it a lot easier. We had the walls professionally spray insulated by a company in East Tennessee, which really stiffened up the walls and improved the temperature regulation a ton. It really didn't add any weight or change the look of it at all, which is sometimes a fear when putting spray insulation on metal. We're pulling the trailer with a 2011 Toyota 4Runner SR5. It has a small leveling kit on it and a steel bumper, but is otherwise pretty much stock from the factory. We use a Husky centerline 400 to 600 pound weight distribution hitch with built-in sway bars to tow the trailer. That really improves the towing experience. It reduces sway, it makes the trailer ride better and ride a little more level with the 4Runner. On the front door, we installed a locking gate latch to keep it latched from the interior with an additional bolt lock to keep it locked from the inside. We also added an additional trailer bar latch mechanism to the outside to lock the existing bar in place when we're parked in camp. That way, nobody can lock us inside once we're parked. Is that insane? Probably. Better safe than sorry. Both the front and the back doors are insulated and lined with a beautiful tongue and groove cedar plank that we sealed and waterproofed. Now let's have a look at the interior, which I have to say turned out pretty fantastic. We tried to stick with a white, black, and medium wood theme throughout. Our floors are Lowe's Smart Core luxury vinyl plank in the color of linear hickory. Our ceiling is a slatted stained wood against a black backing. All of our cabinets are white with black handles, except for this beautiful blue accent cabinetry near the entryway, which are all framed with 80/20 aluminum extrusion. There are 2 fans inside, a MaxxAir Max fan here in the center above the kitchen, another smaller push-out cylinder fan in the shower which lets out moisture and steam when the shower is going. We have 2 benches, one slightly longer than the other, which is perfect for stretching out for a nap while someone else works at the table. Speaking of which, the table is a Lagoon mounted table. Actually, it's a Chinese knockoff I got off eBay, but, you know, same thing. The table can be rotated, moved, or even removed if necessary. Above the dinette, we have our bed, and I have to say I am pretty proud of this system. Our bed is mounted on 4 linear actuators, which raises up to the ceiling with a push of a button, and man, this thing never stops being cool. Kate and I knew we wanted a layout that maximized the space underneath the bed rather than a permanent bed placement, and we also wanted something that required as little effort to set up and break down as possible. We weren't happy with existing systems on the market, so we decided to build our own. If you're interested, we have a couple of videos on the channel all about the bed. Basically, when you're ready to hit the hay, you simply hit this button and watch as the magic happens. The bed is a short queen, which is basically a queen size that's the length of a full size and is perfect size for 2 people. Moving on to the kitchen, we have a deep sink with a sleek black faucet. The sink is supplied by both cold and hot water with an electric pump mounted under the long bench. There's plenty of counter space and under cabinet lighting on both sides. The kitchen also features a genuine tile backsplash with a light gray hexagon tile. This moss wall is one of my favorite features, and I have to give all the credit to Caitlin on this one. It's genuine preserved moss that we picked up off Etsy that's placed neatly between the tiles to bring a bit of green into the space. We do our cooking on a simple butane propane stove that can be pulled out when you need it and tucked neatly away when you don't. We elected to do a portable model rather than a built-in one to save counter space and keep from cutting more holes than necessary into this beautiful countertop. We have a ton of storage in all of our cabinets. In the small drawer here, we have all of our utensils. In our upper cabinets, we keep all of our dry food on one side and our plates, cups, coffee, and other kitchen stuffs on the other side. In the large cabinet, we have our trash can along with some additional shelves where we keep things like collapsible broom and our step stool. On the opposite side, we have additional shelves where we usually keep our pots and pans. In the center, we have 3 large drawers with various storage. In the top drawer, we keep matches, bags, and other random stuff. The middle drawer is usually for electronics, laptops, iPads, cameras, and stuff like that when we're on a trip. And the bottom drawer is kind of dirty stuff: fire starter, gloves, other camping materials. On our accent wall, we have this lovely shade of blue to break up the color a bit. On the wall, we have a full mini-split air conditioner and heater, which we can come back to a little bit later. There's a small toaster oven that lives on the cabinet. We picked up one with a small profile with this neat little door that rolls up instead of the traditional forward opening door. On the wall, we have a small key rack that holds keys and wallets and a convenient space when on a trip. It seems like we're always losing our keys. In a large drawer, we have a cooler fridge that runs off 12 volt and hardly takes any power at all. We have latches mounted to the exterior so it stays closed on the road. Under the fridge is a large drawer that holds towing supplies when we're on the road and keeps our shoes when we're on our trip. In the tall cabinet, we keep our bathroom supplies in the top and dog supplies and stuff like that on the bottom. The whole camper is nicely cooled with a full residential Pioneer mini-split air conditioner and heat pump. The main unit is mounted to the tongue of the trailer on top of some sound dampening pads, which keeps it nice and quiet when it's being used. When it's on the road, we keep the unit covered with a grill cover, which keeps the fan out of the wind while going down the road. These mini splits are super nice. They're really energy efficient, they're quiet, and they have lots of modes. In addition to heating and cooling, this unit features a stay-home mode, which keeps the interior about 46 degrees in the wintertime when it's plugged in, and a dehumidify mode, which is nice to run for a few days after a trip to get some of the moisture out. The camper also has a full wet bath with a shower and toilet. The camper enclosure is fully waterproofed underneath with FRP walls and ceiling, and that fan we mentioned earlier. The toilet is a urine-only toilet, which negates the need for a full Blackwater system, and features a large basin that's comfortable to sit on. The shower features are a nice dark finish, and has a low-flow shower head which saves on water when it's being used. All of these drain into large tanks underneath the trailer. Speaking of which, let's talk about the plumbing for a second. On the outside of the trailer, we have a hose hookup that goes straight to a splitter on the inside, which goes to the onboard tank on one side and straight to the water system on the other. When hooked up to water, like at a house or a campground, we can bypass the water tank entirely and go straight into the system, which keeps the big tank empty when it's not being used. Underneath the large bench, we have a 30-gallon water tank, which is enough water for 4 to 5 days of showers and conservative use. From the tank, we have an electric pump that has its own switch next to the water gauge for the tank. The water splits into hot and cold with propane instant water heater mounted in a sealed box that bleeds the fumes out a vent in the wall. Under the sink, there's a water filter that goes directly into the faucet. On the underside of the trailer, we have a 20-gallon gray tank and a 5-gallon black tank. For our power system, we have an external 30-amp inlet that goes to a power box under the short bench with the majority of the electrical system. The shore power supplies 5 AC outlets throughout the trailer and the mini-split AC. Right now, our 12-volt system is separate from our AC system, meaning the battery doesn't supply the mini-split or the AC plugs. Speaking of the 12-volt system, for our shore power box, we have a DC inverter which supplies the battery in the fuse boxes. There are 2 fuse boxes, one on each side, that supply the electrical devices on each side. This made wiring a whole lot easier and kept things nicely organized. On top of both countertops, we have an electrical column that contains switches and other devices and hides wiring that travels to the ceiling. On this side, we have the battery gauge, bed controls, and light switches, and AC and DC outlets. On the other side, we have our gauges for the gray and black tanks, more switches, and more outlets. We love the look and function of these clever columns, and have to shout out Van Life Sagas here on YouTube who gave us this idea. Kate and I are really just getting started in this whole camper RV trailer thing. We really have no idea how much we're going to use this thing in the long run, or if we will just right out sell it. I can't promise that we're going to take it on some crazy around-the-world journey where we meet a bunch of traveling strangers and have these life-changing experiences. What I do know is that we like putting ourselves out there, trying new things, and learning as much as possible along the way. We built this thing to make some fun memories with, and that's what we're going to do. Besides, we're in way too deep now, and the bank account is already empty. So take this video as a sign to get out there and build something. Yes, it will probably be super hard. You're going to make a huge mess, and you're probably going to cry about how much money you spent. But at the end of the day, you'll have something really cool to look at and say, hey, I made this thing, and it's mine. Now I'm going to use it how I please. And I think that's what any DIY project is all about. If you like this project and are interested in doing the same, we've put together a course that shows you exactly how to convert a trailer into a camper just like us. No, you don't have to spend $20,000 like we did, and we can show you how. So head over to our site, DIYcargotrailer.com, and get on our mailing list to learn more. Until next time, peace.